Here we are at the last section of our course to talk about how to use your visual elements to drive a bigger impact on your audience, on your soon-to-be customers. Now that you understand that your brand is much more than just a logo or some colors, let's dive into the visual aspects of your branding. This section comes at the end for a reason. When you're just starting out or still growing your business, visuals shouldn't be your main focus. It is not about getting the most impressive logo or brand colors. Instead, what we are focusing on here is how to make the most of what you already have, whether that's your logo, your colors, or photos, for example. I'm going to teach you how to use these visual elements strategically to grab your audience's attention, make your brand memorable, and ensure that it sticks in their minds so they will remember you when they should. Your brand's visual elements are your logo and your logo variations, your wordmark, your watermark, your color palette, typography, and your imagery and graphics such as icons, doodles, avatars, shapes, and patterns. The visual side of your brand is crucial to attract attention, provide instant recognition to your brand, no matter where it is displayed. These elements also reflect your personality and add depth to your brand and create a mood or an atmosphere around it that helps to evoke certain emotions, create associations such as trust, excitement, calmness, and so on. When you use your visual identity effectively, you provide consistency to your brand. You build trust and loyalty around your brand and even influence purchasing decisions. Because consistency offers a safe and memorable context for your audience. People trust brands that feel reliable, that feel familiar to them. When they come across your content, they immediately recognize it, know what to expect, and feel confident in what your brand represents. It feels like someone they know. However, if you do not have visual consistency, your brand can become confusing. If your visuals are inconsistent across touch points, like your website, social media, or your packaging even, you make it difficult for your audience to recognize you, which hinders the possibility of an emotional connection and creates a fragmented brand experience for them. This also makes it more difficult for your brand to stand out in the market, which results in lower brand awareness and lower trust. Constantly redesigning and rebranding can also have the same effect. If you are planning a rebrand, it's better to wait until you have a clear vision for your brand and its identity, rather than making piecemeal changes. In a nutshell, visual elements don't just make your brand look attractive, they make it memorable, emotionally engaging, and aligned with the image you want to project to your audience. Let's start with your most recognizable visual element, your logo. Your logo is the face of your brand and the first thing your audience associates with you. You may have a main logo and even some alternative logos to use for different formats or applications. Regardless of how many versions you have, these instructions will apply to all of them. The goal is to ensure that your logo is used consistently and effectively across all your platforms, all your touch points, so your brand is instantly recognizable and communicates in a professional and trustworthy way. Here's how to do it. First, I will start by explaining everything you should never by any chance do with your logo. Your logo provides stability to your visual identity, but what happens to stability when you change your logo? You lose it. Here's a list of things you must never, under any circumstances, do with your logo. Do not apply outlines to your logo. Do not tilt, stretch, or distort your logo in any way. Do not alter any of the elements inside your logo. Do not add new elements, shapes, emojis, highlights to your logo. Do not apply any transparency or shadows or any type of filters to your logo. Do not change the colors in your logo. Do not create new variations in your logo unless you have a specific pre-approved variation of your logo. Never create new versions just because you would like to use it in a different way. Here's an example from one of my past clients. Can you see the difference between how inconsistently they'd used their logo before and how much stability using their logos following these guidelines has provided to their brand? So before, you can see how inconsistently they use their logo regarding colors that did not follow their brand colors. They would also apply so many variations to their logo in placement. Sometimes you can see it at the very corner of the design. Some other times it would be right in the middle. They would also alter the scale of the logo. So sometimes it was very little, some other times it was very big in the design. That made the brand look way more unprofessional. They would also apply logo distortion with elements either stretched or altered in some way with shadows and filters. That would result in a weak and very unclear logo image. And they would also alter the logo using different elements or including the logo in different elements such as a football or a post-it or even a cloud or someone's t-shirt. So that would give off a very weak and unprofessional look to their logo. After applying these guidelines, you can see how consistently they learned how to use their logo. Their logo now is used with correct proportions, always following the same size, which makes it instantly recognizable. It is also now aligned with the brand's overall aesthetic, which keeps a clean and professional appearance. They are sticking to the brand colors. They are using the logo always in the same spot. So the audience, when they come across their content, they can immediately recognize which brand they are seeing. Now they have a much more clean and professional look than before. So by sticking to the right guidelines, Omatochi was able to create a much stronger brand presence. It's no longer just a logo, it's a key visual representation of their brand that feels cohesive, trustworthy, and memorable. This stability, this consistency provides and increases professionalism and reinforces their brand's value. This brand here provides in-home care services for seniors. Now, think about it. If you would have to hire someone to take care of your senior parents based solely on what you see on their social media, which one of these two feeds would you hire? The new one, right? Because it is professional, it is trustworthy, it seems they know what they are doing. This is the impact that using your visual brand, here in this case, your logo, correctly can make on your audience. So now that you know what not to do with your logo, let's explore how to use it in the best way possible. When using your logo in consistent messaging like social media posts, newsletter, or websites, always place it in the same location. This will help you maintain the visual consistency we want for your brand. Whether it's the top left corner, the center, or any other area of the design, pick a spot and stick with it across all platforms. So here's the deal. You go from this to this. Even if you've never seen the company or its logo before and you don't know how it looked like, let me ask you, where do you think you'd spot the logo or brand name more easily? In a chaotic, inconsistent feed where the logo pops up in a different spot every time? Or in a clean, consistent, and strong branded feed? It's like your eyes automatically know where to look. in the second case, right? That's the power of placing your logo consistently. It makes it almost effortless to spot it and remember it. You also want to respect size, proportion, and spacing with your logo. Make sure to always respect the size radius and the proper spacing between the elements of your logo. So if your logo is composed, for example, by an icon and a word, you want to always keep the same space between those. You also want to use your logo in the same size always when possible. You go from looking like you're just winging it to coming across a strong and well established brand that looks professional and as it's been in the game for years, right? With zero doubt about how to use your logo confidently and effectively. Keep a clear space around your logo to ensure it's legible and it stands out. This area should be free of text, of images, or any other design elements. The amount of clear space may vary, but it should always be enough to avoid visual clutter. Using a clear space around your logo ensures your logo stands out and stays easily visible, even in busy designs. Provides a professional and a polished feel. It makes your brand appear more intentional and more credible. Plus, a consistent use of the clear space helps your audience quickly recognize your logo. It reinforces trust and strengthens your brand identity. What to do regarding backgrounds? Always place your logo on a background that provides enough contrast for a clear visibility. Avoid placing your logo on busy or overly complicated backgrounds that could interfere with its visibility and make it more difficult to spot your logo. Remember, your logo is one of the first things people will remember about your brand, so treat it with care and use it consistently to maintain a strong visual identity.